Welcome back to Interpreting the Scares! That's right, we're back at it on our month-long journey through the nightmares with yet another horror film that I haven't seen, but I have at least heard of it this time, and this one's actually directed by James Gunn. Yeah, you heard that right, it's the 2006 classic creature feature, Slither. Slither stars Michael Rooker, Elizabeth Banks, Nathan Fillion, among others, as the small town that they live in is struck by an alien parasite that attaches itself to Grant, played by Rooker, and little by little his appetite grows, only finding satisfaction in human and animal flesh. The more that he eats, the more that his body transforms into something unimaginable, all while spreading his alien sickness throughout the vulnerable town. For some reason, I had it in my head that this movie was a different one, specifically speaking, a movie called Species or Splice or something like that. Both of which I have neither have seen either, by the way. I certainly didn't expect a James Gunn creature feature horror comedy. That was a pleasant surprise. Now, to be fair, it's hardly James Gunn's best work. I think that it misses the mark in ways that I don't think he'd do today, but you can still feel that James Gunn spirit all the same. I feel the same about the cast, all of which feel perfect for James Gunn. Elizabeth Banks, Michael Rooker, Nathan Fillion. All three of the actors have been hilarious and feel perfect for James Gunn, but I don't really think that any of them fit their respective roles as well as they could have. Michael Rooker plays Elizabeth Banks' character's husband, but I'm sorry, but in what universe is that realistic? Meanwhile, Nathan Fillion plays a local police chief, and that does make sense, that does fit him, but he doesn't exactly crack as many jokes as you might expect. If I didn't know who James Gunn was, I don't think that any of these things would really bother me as much as they did. Expectations can really ruin a movie. But I want to stress that it's definitely a solid film all around anyway. I mean, there's a lot of fantastic use of practical effects and makeup going on here. The creature, or I guess the monster designs, if you will, are super creative and in a lot of ways disturbingly creepy. The film really does try to just kind of creep you out in both a scary but more so humorous way. There's a memorable line spoken by Grant in the film, or I guess word. It's killer. He calls everybody killer, which is actually a plot point too. More and more I've been getting into these creature features that just kind of keep showing up over and over again this month, and it makes sense why a lot of them are standalone, which is what I'm focusing on this month. While it's possible to create a sequel to a creature feature, I think that it's more common to just kind of work on its own as a self-contained project. But again, I think the biggest downfall of the film is honestly just the casting. I love these actors, I just don't love them as these characters. I'm kind of a fan of Rooker as the monster, that makes a lot of sense to me, but the heart and the soul of the film requires real, tangible, believable, marital chemistry between his character and Elizabeth Banks, and again, that's the biggest part where I'm like, in what universe is that believable? So overall, it's definitely a fun movie, definitely different in a mostly good way. Not what I expected in the least bit, and I wouldn't mind watching it again sometime down the line, but as far as James Gunn goes, it's mediocre compared to his other stuff. Looking at the final score for a second, you'll pretty much see a score that reflects all of that. A B-letter grade and overall score of 76%, which is exactly, by the way, what I scored yesterday's movie as well. The unbiased and the biased scores are a little bit different though, in which I technically had more fun with this than I did with the last movie, but yesterday's movie was made better on a technical level, so whatever, it doesn't really matter since it all equals out at the end of the day, right? Guys, have you seen Slither? If you have, I would like to hear your thoughts about it in the comment section down below. What are your favorite James Gunn movies? Guardians of the Galaxy doesn't count. And as for YouTube, you guys know what to do. Hit the like, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell to be notified when I come out with my next review. And until then, peace out!